It's finally here, the results of the Mega Smash Poll Ultimate Edition. Now, I know we asked a lot of questions during that poll, and answers to all of them will be revealed, but there is so much data that we thought we would split it up into multiple videos and articles. Not only does that mean you don't have to wait as long to see the results, but it also means that this video won't just be a 5-hour lecture going through all 4,000 plus responses, because that doesn't sound like fun at all, and I've been doing that, reading all 4,000 plus responses. So I hope you all get some enjoyment out of this 2-month-long expedition of mine. So where do we start? Well, I know what results the majority of you all want to see first. Who are the most wanted characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter Pass number 2? After all, we asked for everyone to nominate 6 choices, your wanted Fighter Pass, so you can imagine there are a lot of fighters here. In fact, there is a total of 1,423 unique requested characters for this, and we won't be going through all of them. Instead, as the title and thumbnail suggest, we'll be going through the top 50 most requested fighters for Fighter Pass 2 from the Super Smash Bros. Community. Now, fans of ours who watched our previous content might remember that right after Joker was released, and before the Hero and Banjo were announced, we ran a similar poll asking for everyone's top 3 biggest requests. For that survey we got over 3,000 votes, so this Ultimate Edition has even more data to factor in and makes this new poll even more accurate, at least I hope it does. I highly recommend you watch that first video though before watching this one, as I'll be making very obvious references to it. Look, go and watch it now if you haven't, there's a link in the description, don't worry, I can wait. You're back? Alright, good. Then this is how we did this survey. Everyone was asked to give their 6 most wanted characters for Fighter Pass 2, and each nomination got 1 vote. The order of which you put them didn't matter this time. However, as some people can't read it seems, and put more than 6, heck one person put about 18 characters which is against the rules, then I only counted the first 6. Logic would dictate that the first 6 that come to your mind are the 6 you most want. And if you disagree, well, you should have followed the rules. I also tried to be very specific for characters who would come in pairs. Some characters like the Battletoads, for example, had people voting for just Rash, just Zitz, or just Pimple, while others voted for having all 3 but as ults of each other. In this case, I just combined all of these votes into one under the Battletoads moniker, because if they got into Smash then that feels more likely. The same goes for situations like Jason and Sophia from Blaster Master, because you can't really have one without the other, even though some voted for Jason only and others voted only for Sophia. However, in cases like Toad and Captain Toad, I counted them as separate characters, as they have the potential to play very differently, with regular Toad having more options than Captain Toad. Then we've also got ults. Toadette, as an example, only got 2 votes on her own, however a lot of people wanted her in as Toad or Captain Toad ult. However, as this poll is for the fighters and not the ults specifically, then for nominations like Toad with the Toadette ult were counted as a vote for just Toad. Whichever option came first, I considered that the actual vote. The same is counted for Echo Fighters as well, unless they were explicitly listed as being one of the 6 options. One more thing. It should be stated that this vote was conducted in March 2020, before Fighter 6 was confirmed to be coming from ARMS, so that, and any other ideas in the minds of fans that has come from this, has not factored into this poll. Okay, I think that's everything, so before we get to the top 50, I just want to give a moment to remember those that fell out of this prestigious group following this year's votes. They might be gone, but they are certainly not forgotten.
are we still here? Just to suffer every night.
Now, on with the show. Bomberman! Making it into the top 50 this year after narrowly missing it in 2019, we have Bomberman. While he is already in the game as an assist trophy, he is still very much wanted due to his iconicness, and I'm sure his return in recent years has helped out as well. He might be the first assist trophy upgrade on this list, but he won't be the last. Although, I suspect you all knew that already. Gordon Freeman. Making a much bigger jump up the rankings this time, we have Gordon Freeman from Valve's Half-Life series. This silent scientist made a massive jump up the rankings, and it's probably due to the series' revitalization in Half-Life Alyx. I personally don't think Gordon would be too out of place in Super Smash Bros. He is very iconic and is probably the best PC rep they could add due to the series' impact on the industry. While he hasn't appeared on a Nintendo platform before, I don't think that really matters much. Chrono! Our first drop in the rankings, but not enough to get him off the top 50. I was expecting that the addition of the hero in Fighter Pass 1 might cause him to drop in popularity due to all the similarities, but he actually got more votes this year. But clearly this increase wasn't as strong as some of the others, who ranked much higher. Quote! The Godfather of Indies returns once more, retaining his place at number 47. He received more votes this year, and it helped cement his position. Although, as you'll find out, he is the only choice who didn't bunch an inch from last year's list. Hat Kid! From one indie to another, we have Hat Kid, an up-and-coming platform mascot from the long-anticipated A Hat in Time. She too missed out on the top 50 by just a little last year, but now has seen double the amount of votes, getting her a spot with the big boys and girls. Klonoa! This one is going to hurt. It's Klonoa, the first of the top 50 to have dropped significantly in rank. Even though the character's amount of votes only really dropped by a little bit, that was enough to send him into this nightmare. But don't fret, Klonoa, your dreams of a return will one day come true. Elma! Another drop despite the increase in votes, and our first Nintendo character, it is the star of Xenoblade Chronicles X, Elma. Last year, with talks of a Xenoblade Chronicles X port and her appearance from 2018 in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, she likely got a big push in popularity. But with the reveal of a remaster of the original Xenoblade, X is looking more and more like it's getting the cold shoulder. Hopefully in the future, a Xenoblade X Squared will manage to reinvigorate interest in one of the series' best characters. Zero! Our next assist trophy and another new member to the rankings, we have Zero from Mega Man X. He saw a massive increase in popularity over this year, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it has something to do with the release of the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, or maybe he was just a lot of people's 4th, 5th or 6th most wanted. Or maybe it's something else? Cosmos! It's Xenosaga time and one of my most wanted characters, Cosmos. Despite my personal bias, Cosmos didn't make it into the top 6, but 42 is a very valid position for someone who was barely on the radar last year. Maybe it was because there was much debate towards the end of last year about a Bandai Namco rep, and that's created interest in Cosmos. That interest would explain our next character as well. Agumon! Another newcomer to the top 50, Agumon is one of Pikachu's core rival mascots, the Sonic to Pikachu's Mario, and the icon of Digimon. You might think the new Digimon anime affected this result, but that technically launched after the poll was conducted, so it might not have made a massive impact. Instead, I think it's once again a desire to see a Bandai Namco rep. But don't take my word for it, let us know in the comments. Frisk! While Sans fell, a true hero came to take his place. Frisk is the protagonist of Undertale, and he just missed the top 50 last year. But with Sans becoming a Mii fighter, I reckon many abandoned that sinking ship and jumped over to who they thought the next likely Undertale fighter could be. I still think Papyrus would be the best choice though. He could bring lots of spaghetti. Heihachi! Choo choo, all aboard the Bamco train. But seriously, it was a surprise that Heihachi didn't make the top 50 last year, so I'm glad to see him get the support he very much deserves. you'll need to learn to respect the head of the Mishima clan and support him in his quest to beat the young'uns into shape. Monokuma. Another drop in the rankings despite a vote increase. Monokuma is a cool looking villain and would be a neat visual novel rep, but I'm not quite sure what he would do. It's probably because I haven't played the series yet, but I will get on it one day, I promise. Please don't judge me. Skull Kid. Only a light increase from last year, but the Skull Kid from The Legend of Zelda continues to show his popularity. The Zelda series really should get another rep. It's just a shame that a lot of the big choices are assist trophies in Smash Ultimate, Skull Kid included. Speaking of assist trophies... Shovel Knight! Steal thy shovel, it's Shovel Knight, who just missed out last year. I can only assume it's King of Cards release that has increased support here, but it's quite the jump. So maybe there is simply a strong belief this year that assist trophies could be promoted, because Fighter Pass 2 wasn't decided while the base game was still being made. Much like how some expect base game spirits to no longer affect DLC, maybe the same can be said for assist trophies. It would explain the popularity in fighters like Zero and Shovel Knight. I guess we'll find out soon if that rule might really be broken. Lara Croft! Another drop in the rankings despite an increase in popularity, and honestly this one stings a little, as Lara Croft is a gaming icon, and it only really feels like she has missed out so far because she was made in the West, even if it's Square Enix owned. Come on Sakurai, add her in Smash already, and then do a Get To Me fight, okay, thanks. Professor Layton. Another increase in popularity, we have Professor Layton. Again, the character didn't do much since last year, but it's possible he is many players' 4th or 6th most wanted. It's also possible that fans just want a level 5 rep, and seeing as level 5 and Tecmo Koei are probably the biggest missing mainstream Japanese publishers without a fighter in Smash Bros, many want their most popular character to fill in the perceived gap. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's the assist trophy shuffle once more, but this time dropping in the ranking and in votes. Although honestly, the vote drop is so minute it probably didn't really factor. Rather, it was the lack of any new support that damaged this edgy anti-hero, but with every drop comes a raise, and the next fighter definitely got just that. Soul Bad Guy! What a jump! Going from scraps to just missing out on the top 30, we have the mascot of Guilty Gear and an Arc System Works rep, Soul Bad Guy. Similar to what I said with Layton, it's possible people want one of the most popular characters from one of the bigger Japanese developers not yet in Smash Bros, but also maybe fans of Guilty Gear never thought Arc System would ever get anything in Smash Bros, and then suddenly we got the River City Ransom series get spirits, and this ignited the passion of Guilty Gear fans, who finally feel like they have a chance. Monster Hunter! Another increase, and one I am actually surprised at, is the Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is a big series, and a popular one at that, which already has content in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with the Rathalos. What surprises me is that support essentially doubled when I was expecting it to decrease, thanks to Byleth, who many have pointed out could have easily had a lot of his moveset covered by the Hunter. I thought this may dissuade, but I guess I was wrong, and I'm very happy to be. Now let's hunt. Porky! It's a significant decrease, but this little piggy has still managed to hold on to a spot in the top 50 somehow. Porky, or Pokey depending on which game you played, is Ness's rival, neighbour, friend? From the Earthbound series, and one of its 2 major antagonists. Porky managed to get completely snuffed in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, not coming back as either a boss or a spirit. But this has only caused his fanbase to grow, and who knows, maybe by Super Smash Bros. 9 he'll finally get his chance. Or maybe it will come soon. Scorpion. Another decrease in the ranks despite more votes. It's one of the stars of Street Fighter's more violent rival, Scorpion. Despite not having a big presence in Japan, fans still want to see the Mortal Kombat series make it into Smash Bros, and that's honestly understandable. It's an iconic series and helped bring about the ESRB in video game regulations. Wait, maybe that isn't a good thing then. Tails! It's our second Sonic character in the top 50, and this one didn't drop nearly as much as Shadow did. Still a popular pick, and that's no surprise. I'm sure when most people think of Player 2, they either think of Luigi or Tails, even if Tails wasn't really a Player 2 in the same sense. Still, the Sonic series is really popular and big enough to get a second rep like Street Fighter and Castlevania, and the majority of you think it should be Tails. Or do you? Amaterasu. From one mammal to another, we have Amaterasu, the god of the sun and star of Capcom's Okami. Last year I made a mistake in saying that Okami Den was a spin-off, so I'm going to apologise for that now. I was very new to the Okami series. But I still want an Okami 2. Come on, Capcom, bring Amaterasu back once more. Amaterasu did unfortunately drop 6 spots from 21st to 27th. However, funnily enough, our next pick dropped from 20th to 26th. Exactly the same. Paper Mario! I do wonder that if we had done this poll now and not back in March, if Paper Mario would have been higher. Then again, it is another Mario character and another Mario. I think I would want Paper Mario just for the visuals though. Game & Watch's 2D aesthetic is great and I'd love to see it used on another character, but to an even cooler effect. Dr. Eggman!
I can't believe this!
Well, you should, because look who blasted his way up the rankings. It's Dr. Eggman, the iconic video game villain of the Sonic series, here to steal Tails' thunder as the world's greatest scientist. He'd be so cool to fight in his mech, and would slide right into that roster as if he was always there. The Heavy! Another impressive increase. The Heavy from TF2 has made it to the top 25, and I'm still not convinced he would be the rep of choice for the series, as Scout probably has the most versatility. But then again, this is Team Fortress 2, so maybe the Heavy would come with Scout, Medic and so on as moves or summons? An interesting concept, I'm going to have to make note of that. Lloyd Irving. And here's the obligatory Tails rep, rising through the ranks like many of the other Bandai Namco characters. Unlike last year, I actually finally own Tales of Symphonia, so soon I will be able to actually understand Lloyd's popularity. Well, I kinda get it a little. He has 2 swords, and everyone knows those with 2 swords are cooler than those with 1 sword. Now, if he had 3 swords... The Knight! And another big rise through the ranks of the top 50, but unlike Lloyd, I have finally played this character's game, so now I won't make the mistake of calling him Hollow Knight like I did last year, and many others apparently did in this vote. Seriously, we had a few for Hollow Knight, the Bug Knight, the Vessel, the protagonist of Hollow Knight. That's too many names. Spyro! I'm starting to see why we got so many drops in the rankings. It's because the 40s and 30s from last year have just shot up in popularity. But for Spyro, I kind of get it. For Nintendo fans, his trilogy of games finally made it to the Switch, and that likely made a lot of Nintendo loyalists finally give their support. Don't underestimate the importance of being on a Nintendo system for many fans. Oh, Naja! Year on year I feel so vindicated. It feels like just yesterday that people were doubting Al's chances for Super Smash Bros, and now she's made it into the top 20. I feel like a proud parent. I feel like amongst the Smash community, more and more are starting to come around to her, and it doesn't hurt that Sega themselves commented on how big the Puyo Puyo series was in Japan. Now, if only Smash Bros would recognise that as well. Ryu Hayabusa. If Ryu doesn't make it into Fighter Pass 2, I would be very surprised. Arguably the last of the iconic NES platforming heroes, and mascot for Koei Tecmo, Ryu Hayabusa is the gaming ninja. I know many expected him in Fighter Pass 1, and according to our numbers, even more expect him this time. If we do get a third-party retro character, he wouldn't be my first choice, but I think we can all say it would be very well deserved with a legacy like his. Rex and Pyra. Now we have our first drop out of the top 10s, and by double their score last year. Rex and Pyra also went down in votes, which hasn't happened in a while. Still, even with the Mii costume and remake of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 pushing 2 out of the spotlight, support is still stuck on. And hey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and ARMS were just a bit too late for the base game, and now an ARMS rep is making it in, so maybe there's still a chance. 2B. I know what I said about Spyro, but if any option is going to show that Nintendo relevance doesn't matter, it's Yora number 2 Type B, or just 2B as most call her. The Nier series has never made it to a Nintendo platform, and I don't think 2B has even cameoed in a game on a Nintendo system, and yet here she is on this poll, with even more votes and a slight increase in the rankings. Let's see if she would truly buck the trend like Cloud and Joker almost did before her. Dixie Kong! She's finally here, as voted for by you. It's the next member of the DK crew. Dixie Kong has climbed further up the ranks. With almost double her last score, she has all you to thank. Okay, that's enough of that. Dixie Kong is a popular choice, so I can only imagine has risen up the ranks because she's a lot of people's 4th or 5th favourite, and the new rules gave her the boost she needed. Or maybe there's just a strong desire to see more Nintendo representation this time after Byleth proved that it could happen. I guess we will see. Isaac! I gotta respect the ongoing drive from Isaac fans. Despite how long it's been since he was relevant outside of Smash Bros, and despite the fact he is already an assist trophy, his fanbase has managed to grow, and he keeps rising up the ranks, even if it was just by 1. Well, keep on dreaming, Isaac fans, and maybe one day soon you'll get to see that golden sunrise. Travis touchdown! Now here is someone I fully understand the popularity spike for. Travis was already decently popular amongst Smash fans thanks to Suda51's constant desire to see and make it in, and the excellence of the No More Heroes series. Now with Travis Strikes Again out and No More Heroes 3 on its way, Travis is becoming more and more relevant, and thus for many, he's more likely to get that sweet, sweet promotional boost from Super Smash Bros. Shantae! Another painful drop in the rankings, and this one more so, falling from the top 5 to unlucky number 13. Even with the new game release, for whatever reason, Shantae's support has just dropped, and I'm honestly quite surprised. It's a shame too, because 7 Sirens did a good job of making me realise how Shantae could play in Super Smash Bros. Maybe I'll get to show you all someday. Waluigi. And well, we all saw this one coming. While he did drop a rank, there's only a slight bump on his Wild Wide. He is unsurprisingly the highest ranked assist trophy in this entire poll, and if the ARMS rep really is Springman, then maybe Waluigi has a shot. I'm not convinced that it will be, but Nintendo has definitely heard the cries of the players for Waluigi in Smash Bros, so who knows what the next 2 years will hold. Reimu Hakuri. Looks like the Toho fans have been hard at work. Reimu just made it in at number 50 last year, but now she's just missed out on the top 10. Like, wow. The Indie Queen would be an excellent addition in Smash Bros, and it seems a lot of fans agree. I've never actually played a mainline Toho game, but there are plenty of spin-offs making their way to Nintendo Switch, and she has a pretty unique design from the rest of the cast. Add in she's a shmup character, an untapped Smash genre, and I think we could see something interesting here. Phoenix Wright! It's time for the cream of the crop now, the top 10, and to start us off we have the video game attorney Phoenix Wright. He's used to bringing the justice to villains, and so it would be cool to see him do the same here in Smash Bros. If Phoenix doesn't get some kind of representation in the DLC by the end of Fighter Pass 2, I will be sorely disappointed. Bandana Waddle Dee! You know the top 5 are going to be exciting when last year's number 1 moved on, and number 2 is showing up down here in 9th place. I do feel bad for the little guy though. It's a tough battle to keep pushing on with, a cutie pie like Waddle Dee, but he's going to keep fighting. I think the lack of a new Kirby game is really hurting his support, but it's about time for a new one on Switch, so let's see what might happen. Master Chief! Moving up a whole 2 spaces, we have the Chief, the Master Chief, so you know he's even better than a regular Chief. Support for him was still strong even last year. With a new Halo planned for the end of this year, rumours of a Master Chief collection on Switch, and the fact that Microsoft has already gotten into Super Smash Bros. With Banjo and Kazooie, well, that's a lot of reasons to keep fighting the good fight. Steve! From one Microsoft rep to another, we have Steve from Minecraft. While he has dropped by 1 space in the rankings, he's still got more votes than last year, so the support is still going strong. Also, a shout out to Alex. I said I was only counting the main fighters and not the ults, but the vast majority of Steve voters also asked for an Alex ult, so I think she deserves a mention. Rayman! Another increase in popularity in Ubisoft's main platforming mascot, it's Rayman. Support for this limbless hero is still going strong, even with the lack of new games on the way, but that doesn't really matter. In fact, he'd be a perfect counter to an ARMS fighter. We get a fighter who is all arms, and then one who is no arms. It's like poetry or something, man. Dante! It's Dante from Devil May Cry, who undeniably got his support from finally making his Nintendo debut. Devil May Cry 1 to 3 have all made it into Switch, with 4 almost certainly on the way. Then of course we have last January's Dante hype, where everyone thought it'd be Fighter 5, tying in with the release of Devil May Cry 3 Switch Edition. Well, it's not too late, Dante, although you could have done better in this poll. After all, you were only 1 point away from drawing with Sora! It was a clutch battle between Dante and Sora, but this Hero of Hearts managed to claim 4th place. Although that's actually 1 less than last year, and actually 20 votes less than last year. 4th place is still a very respectable position though, and hey, if our top 50 all join the ARMS rep as the rest of Fighter Pass 2, then it doesn't matter if Sora was 3rd or 4th, he'd still be making his Smash Bros debut. Doom Guy! It's time to rip and tear our way into the top 3 with Doom Guy, the Doom Slayer, the one they all fear. Doom Eternal and the Kakomala rumours are no doubt the reason this guy has managed to plough his way into the top 3, and I am all for it. He's an icon, a new genre, a western rep from an awesome series, and was one of my most wanted for the last Fighter Pass. It can still happen this time. Come on Nintendo, come on Bethesda, let's bring the Doom. Gino! Oh boy, the wish of the Smash community looks like it's nearly here. Gino was always a popular choice, but this new support is almost certainly because of his mysteriously absent Mii costume. Sakurai knows he is popular, yet his Mii costume wasn't added back at all in Fighter Pass 1, when so many other Smash 4 Mii costumes were. If it's not a sign of things to come, well then Sakurai is really playing us all like puppets on a string. And so, now it's on to number 1. This video is already quite long, so unlike last year, if you want to see the full list of characters voted for, there is a link to the accompanying article down below. We got over double the fighters this year than last. I don't even think that the Mario slide music would last long enough for all of that. Plus, I know you all want to see who number 1 is, and I won't leave you waiting any longer. Crash Bandicoot. A rival to Mario and Sonic, the unofficial mascot of Sony, a hero who has returned to the front lines after a long absence with new game on the way. I hope this manic marsupial makes it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate one day. Just imagine, Crash versus Mario versus Sonic versus Banjo. What a truly great timeline we would live in to see that. And that does it for the top 50. What a gargantuan task it has been. We read every single vote, and this is only the Fighter Pass 2 video. Remember, you all voted on your favourite parts of Fighter Pass 1, who your most played fighters on the roster were, gave opinions on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a whole, with inputs on both how it could be improved and not. There is a lot more here, so stay tuned for even more content from the Mega Smash Poll Ultimate Edition. If you want to support all this hard work, please consider supporting us on Patreon. You can suggest content for us to cover, request translations at a high enough tier, and patrons even got access to these results early on request. That included our $1 tier patrons, but for those who donated $5 or more, you are now appearing on screen right now. So please, stick around, share this video with your friends and the community, let us know your thoughts on the results down in the comments and subscribe, so that you can always return to the source.